Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB, you're not, and today I'm going to do another video that was requested by viewers. Why? I don't know. But many people, or I'm not going to say many people, but at least 5 or 6 wanted to see the RazoRock Lupo with a heavier handle. And this is one of RazoRock's stainless handles. It's pretty doggone heavy. And there is the Lupo loaded with a Gillette Silver Blue. We'll go ahead and put that there. We're going to use Speick or however you say it, product of Germany, shaving cream, and the Peter Charkelis Sneaky Pete Ariana and Evans brush synthetic, which is terrific. I love it. Check out my brush video, favorite brush video, if you haven't seen it yet. Love that brush. Anyway, let's wet the face and get going. A lot of people requested this video, or more than a few, let's put it that way. I keep saying a lot and many, and it's really technically not a lot and many. It's a handful, but it was surprising to me that so many people wanted to see. By the way, that's RazoRock pre-shave lime cube. It was surprising to me how many people wanted to see this. So I was like, okay, we'll give it a go. Personally, I like to keep, most of the time, I like to keep razors with the handle that they ship with, because I believe that the manufacturer sends it with the handle that they have in mind, and they have sort of figured out the balance, and that they have intended it to be used with the handle. That is not to say you can't change the handle, because you can to meet your personal preferences. But most times I tend to like the selection that the vendor makes. And I think most of the vendors who manufacture, or manufacturers of razors, put some thought and effort into choosing their handles. So my perspective is I try to use it with the handle it typically comes with. Now, I do have a few heads that didn't come with handles, like Yaki stuff, and I have a Mula R41 head that I just bought the head. But typically, if I had that whole razor, I would just use the handle that came with it most of the time. Because again, I think the people who make razors put a lot of thought into their handles. And again, they're made to change, most of them, or at least the 3-piece, you can certainly change them, but with aluminum razors in particular, they're so light that I think a light handle works better with it. Now, today, we're going to find out how this feels. When I pick it up, my initial inclination is to say, the handle's too heavy. It's crazy unbalanced. But, it still feels good. At least based on these first few strokes. Feels really nice. The one thing I will say, the handle gives it a feel, it feels more robust due to the weight, and so maybe that's what people are looking for. Maybe that's why people are asking. They just, want to see how it performs. It feels pretty good, to be honest with you. It gives it a feeling of, a lot of times, when something has a little heft to it, it just feels good. And so I would say that I understand on that basis why people want to see this. And yeah, it's shaving perfectly. It feels phenomenal. I don't know if I put the other handle on it right now that I'd discern, obviously it would be much lighter, but I don't know if it would shave any differently. I'm not sure. I just don't know. And one of the things about me is if I don't know, I don't know. I'll say it, And on this issue, I can understand why some people might want that heavy handle on here. Shaves well. So from that perspective, it's fine. There's no issue, as far as I'm concerned, with using a heavy handle. At least not based on this single pass. Felt good. You know how I feel about the Lupo? It is something that I think is a good all-around razor. Now, granted, I haven't used it a ton, but I've used it to know that I like it. I've used it as many times as necessary to figure out that it feels good. And it's a good shaver for my use case. Very important. Very important. And I got into that yesterday. You know, your use case, obviously, can be very, very different from mine. So just keep that in mind. That's all I ask, is keep in mind that, you know, those of us who make these videos don't have all the answers for your use case. We can try to help, but we're not shaving your face. And, you know, ultimately, every single individual has to figure it out. But they can use the knowledge that's passed down from others, just like I used all the knowledge that was passed down to me. And that's the great thing about these videos and the forums and the groups where people talk about this. We're sharing this so it can continue, and other people will realize that, hey, you can enjoy yourself, excuse me, while you're having a shave. It can be a very relaxing experience, and not one that you're just dreading, like, oh, I gotta shave. And that sort of was what I used to feel like. It was like a chore, you know, when I was using the carts and didn't really know how to shave properly. It was a chore, and I did not like it. And then I started doing this, and it's like, wow, that's kind of cool, nice, relaxing, kind of fun. You feel good. Afterwards, you get a really nice shave, you just feel good. You all know, who are watching this video, what I'm talking about. Other people, when they hear that someone is a shaving hobbyist, they're like, what? They don't understand. But there's a lot of hobbies out there that are, you know, are different and a little off the beaten path. And so, as I've said in previous videos, most of us who are shaving enthusiasts are also hobbyists in other areas, like knives or cigars or watches or, you know, vinyl records, you know, what have you. And so we just tend to be perhaps a little more detail-oriented in certain things, maybe. I'm not sure. Shave is going really well, by the way. Anyway, I want to say hello to all of you fellow YouTubers who are providing content. I've subscribed to a few channels recently, and I haven't had a lot of time to watch a ton of content, but I've seen some content from Jill. I think it's She Shaves with Jill, something like that, and Conrad, who I mentioned before, and a few guys I subbed to yesterday. So if you make shaving content and you're doing it in a positive way and not tearing people down, I'm happy to watch and sub as time permits. Obviously, I can't watch every video. No one can. But I try to be supportive of other people to the degree I can. Again, provided that they're not one of these channels who are constantly just, you know, tearing people down for no good reason and so on and so forth. Now, that said, when I say tearing people down, I don't mean making critiques of products. That is fair game. But when you make it personal, you know, if somebody, for example, says, you know, I don't agree with you on this particular technique, that's fair game. But if they start making it personal, like this guy, you know, making a lot of personal comments, you know, he's an idiot, he's this, he's that. And it's not about the shave or the products, you know, it's about me, then that's not what we're putting out there to discuss. You know, we can debate the merits of products and things that I say, but we shouldn't be, you know, attacking folks. That's the way I look at it. How's the shave going? Well, no problems at all. I kind of like the Lupo with this handle. I didn't think I would. I thought that I would think it was wildly unbalanced, and it is unbalanced, but it still seems to be shaving really well, and I like the way it shaves. I would love to have one of these in stainless steel to see whether or not it shaves the same way, or maybe the aluminum is better, maybe the stainless steel is. One thing I want to mention, folks, is I do not reach out to vendors and ask for products to evaluate. Vendors sometimes reach out to me, but I don't solicit products by directly asking. So anything that you've ever seen that's been sent to me, it's because somebody has seen the channel, or sometimes you viewers actually have contacted the vendor and go, hey, you know, this might be a guy you want to try their product. Now with me, it's a double-edged sword because I may not like it. And if I don't like it, I'll say so. And whenever I use products, I'll always send them an email and go, be happy to try it, but I have to be able to speak 100% candidly about it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to say so. And so most vendors and manufacturers have a lot of confidence in their product, and they say that's exactly what we want. So that's good. Anyway, I don't reach out and ask for things. Just wanted to make that clear. Some people do, I don't. Doesn't make me any better or worse than the ones that do. It's just my method. So I've been, people before have said, you ought to do this and that, and you ought to ask, and I'm not going to. It's just not my thing. The shave with this was really good. I got to tell you, it felt just fine with the heavy handle. So there it is. Good shaver with aluminum handle, good shaver with a much heavier stainless steel handle. I really like the Lupo. Just my opinion. It may not be a home run for you, but it is for me. Speick, whatever it is called, good product out of Germany. Nice, pleasant, sort of spicy scent. Ariana and Evans synthetic, terrific, just as the razor is. And this is terrific too. Thayer's cucumber magic, because it's made by witches, which I will apply after I rinse the face down. Then we'll finish it out today with a little Pinot citrus musk, which is just a bright citrusy aftershave. It actually says cologne, but whatever, EDC. It works well. It doesn't hang around a long time. Really citrusy, and I like it. I want to thank everybody for joining me once again. I have been your host, CDV. You are not. God bless.